All right, let's chat.
Let's have a chat.
I feel like it's been so long since I've done like a rant. More of an inspirational talk for you guys, I think. Today I want to cover a topic that I think a lot of us struggle with or have at least thought about. The feeling of not feeling good enough or feeling like we're not enough. Those may be the same. So I thought about it. Have I ever felt not good enough? Absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely. Yes. Yes, I have. Basically, I put together a list of things that I found helped me when thinking that I wasn't good enough. So the idea of not being good enough, what the f is that? Most of the time, it's an inside problem based off of outside sources. So someone's opinion, internal assumptions. It's this really shitty feeling of not measuring up to what we feel we should be. Okay, here's some tips and advice from me to you. Your mind isn't always right. Oftentimes we think that our brain and our mind is us. And what we think is who we are. And that's not the case. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's a reality. I think I can backflip, but in reality, I can't. Really terrible analogy, I apologize. Let me back that one up. And this is a real example. I have thought, you know, I'm not funny. Where a lot of trolls might feast on what I just said there. For the most part, I know a lot of people watch me because they think I'm funny. Even though my mind is saying, Dan, you're not funny, on the outside, it's having a different effect. Negative thoughts are a slippery slope. It's like this seed, okay? So it's like you plant this seed of negativity. Dan, you're not funny, okay? I plant the seed. As days go on, I start to think about this, and as I think about it, I'm mentally watering this seed of, Dan, you're not funny. Eventually, this negative thought starts to grow and it becomes a reality, and then my self-confidence goes away, and then I'm really not funny. And if you plant this idea in your head that you can't do that, and every time you think about it, you reinforce that thought, you're only giving it more and more muscle or ground to really like beat you up on the inside, which then propels the idea that you're not good enough. Your mind is such a powerful thing. And if you are, again, we'll go back to that watering example. If you're watering your mind with poison, it's only gonna start to deteriorate things that were once living there. We're our own worst enemy. If you watching this right now are thinking you have a problem, financial, relationship, friendships, family, career, anything, break it down and see if it stems from you. If it's something you can control, 9.9 times out of 10, it comes from within. Whether it's a fear, an assumption, or just like negatively fueling ourselves, it still comes from within. When I feel like I'm not enough, before I would distract and try to bury that because it's so uncomfortable. Who wants to feel not good enough? Distract myself, whether it was going out and buying something, going to hang out with a bunch of friends, just doing anything I could to not feel that emotion. My suggestion to you is if you're feeling this, sit with it. Like sit with it for like 5 minutes. Don't try to bury it, don't try to text, don't try to turn on Netflix. Sit with the feeling and be like, okay, this is what it feels like to feel not good enough. Just familiarize yourself with that feeling. An example, you put your foot into a cold pool. First time you put it in, it's like, oh my God, this pool is freaking freezing. I can't get in here. So you pull it back out. Well, the next time you put it in, it's still gonna be cold. But if you put your foot in, leave it for a minute, the whole shock to your body isn't as bad anymore. And then you can get in a little bit further and a little bit further. And eventually you're swimming in it completely fine. And it's not even a problem to begin with. When you don't feel good enough, it's kind of the same thing as we always try to push bad feelings. Like get it away. Like, I hate this feeling. It's weighing on my shoulders too much. It's making me feel uncomfortable. It's making me feel not good enough. But if we just sit there and be like, okay, come here, give me a hug. Boom. Okay, that's what it feels like. All right, you can go away now. Maybe tomorrow I'll try this again. Now I'm getting pretty good at this, you know? When you actually feel the impact of what you're doing to yourself, it doesn't have much impact anymore. I think one of the worst things you can do, and where not feeling good enough stems from, is from comparing yourself to other people based off of assumptions. There's this saying, and I really love this saying, it's, we are comparing our behind the scenes to other people's highlight reel. Every time you go on Instagram and you see an influencer smiling or somebody living the life that you wish you had, you're looking at a edited photo, most often paid for photo, a staged photo, someone laughing or smiling when it was just like, because it makes a good photo, you know what I mean? We scroll through Instagram and we see these photos and we think, oh, look at this person, so happy with this person. But you don't know what goes on behind that. So there is an exercise you can do here. Take it how you will, okay? I heard this thing where if you find that you're comparing yourself a lot and it's something you're really struggling to stop doing, one, check Instagram once a day. I get it, that's hard to do. Trust me, I'm on Instagram a ton throughout the day. You could sift through and filter who you're following. This one piece of advice I heard was, feel like you're comparing yourself too much, stop following models and influencers. Weird, because I am technically an influencer and I'm basically telling you to stop following me. No. Influencers in the context of ones that are playing the game. Always perfect, always laughing, always smiling. You never really see anything about them, or you never really see any behind the scenes of them. The ones that are creating this facade that you're buying into every single day. Maybe think about stop following them. And on the flip side, start following designers and artists. These are essentially people that are following a passion, an inside source, an emotion that they're putting on a paper. Next up, let it out. Oh my God, let it out. If you feel like you're not good enough or you're not measuring up to whatever standard you've created in your head, let it out. Holding on to the feeling and going out into a world where it's only feeding that idea, it's making it worse. I get it. A lot of you guys aren't comfortable with being open with your feelings or emotions. I get it. So maybe you don't have to do it verbally to people, but write it down. Record yourself in front of a camera where it's private, where no one will see it. But let it out, because that stuff is stirring like a tornado, just collecting more and more debris, and eventually it'll just wreck you. I'm gonna share with you guys one of my secrets. I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody. I'm very comfortable in front of the camera because I've been doing this for a few years, but I feel like I can actually express myself in front of the camera. When I have a tough situation, I will turn on the camera and I'll do this. You don't have to, but this is footage no one will ever see because I put it away into a file that's locked. I turn on the camera, I start recording, and for as long as it takes, I give myself the time and the openness to be sympathetic to myself. The my life sucks, the why does this have to happen to me, all of those. Just the drowning in your own sorrow. Just give it time and let it out. Let that side of you have a voice. Do it as long as it needs to go. Once you feel like you've kind of started to repeat yourself and start to, okay, well, I've already said that life sort of sucks, and I've already said that I'm not good enough. Change, okay? You've given that its time. It's like an argument. You had your time, now let me talk. Then flip over to the realistic self-coaching version of you that tries to correct everything you just said. Well, Dan, you know, you're not that bad, and there are other people, and you know, it is kind of funny, and you make, you know, give the other side the voice. You'll be surprised the amount of times I've sat on camera going, holy shit, this guy exists? This guy is in me? I don't listen to him nearly enough. Because when we buy into the idea that we aren't good enough, we're basically taking the insecure version of us and we're putting it at the front lines to represent ourselves. It's the spokesperson of us. To not feel good enough is essentially an overwhelming sensation of self-doubt. You're doubting yourself, you're doubting your confidence, your humor, your looks, your self-worth. You feel like you're not worth people's time or their friendship or anything, and it sucks, and I get it. But you have to remember, self-doubt and that whole sensation is like a warm blanket where it creeps on, and it's kind of nice to feel bad. It's kind of nice to feel that woe is me, you know, to be sympathetic. The problem is every single time you be sympathetic to yourself, that blanket slowly starts to come around and turn itself into handcuffs, and then you're stuck because you've given so much power to the belief that you aren't good enough, that you believe it, and you start living your life like that day by day. When you're aware of this, that's the first step. Guys, this video was just one that it's impacted me a lot as of recent, and I may still be working through it, but I'm working through it. I've taken a break from doing these types of videos for you guys, and there is a sense of me that feels like I owe you an apology, because my channel used to be heavily about bettering yourself, and I want to get back there, of course. And I think this is the first step, is being honest with myself and not pretending like my life is so great. If you're out there and you feel like you're not good enough, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel that way, but don't buy into it. As of right now, stop buying into it. Slowly stop watering that idea. It's crazy how much cooler we all are when we're confident in our true selves. But the truth is, when you don't feel like you're good enough, it means you're buying into some ideal, the way we should be. Why aren't we this? It's not fair. You should be rooting for you, because there's a saying, and this isn't meant to be a depressing saying, by the way. I know it can come across this way, but even your shadow leaves you when you're in the darkness. It's a pretty impactful thought that it's true. You know, all we have is ourselves. Yes, you have friends and family. You don't know if they're gonna move away or something's gonna happen to them. So it's a good time at any time to start being your biggest fan, saying, I'm actually pretty cool, because you are. You're watching this video. So I'm giving you that credit, okay? But it's a normal feeling. And it's kind of interesting, you know, to think that, how do so many people feel like they're not enough? Like, how does the world work when so many people are beating themselves up inside? I don't know. It's an interesting thought, but all in all, it's not an overnight thing. It's a baby steps thing. Cut off the idea that you're last, and stop giving yourself last place. If someone's saying something negative to you, that's an opinion. and that's not fact. If someone advises something, that's advice, not fact. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and honestly, truthfully speaking, I hope that this resonates with you. I hope it hits you in a way that starts to propel you to feel better, man. It's okay to feel bad. But if you're gonna feel bad, if you're gonna give yourself 5 minutes to feel bad, give yourself 5 minutes to feel good. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you in my next video. See you guys later.